Hey there, welcome to another episode of Blake's Everyday Podcast. I am running a little late on this video. It's pretty late. They did just introduce NHL 26 video game to Xbox, so I become quite addicted to that. But nonetheless, I'm also dealing with a struggling wife right now. She is uh, she's having a food hangover, which is really harsh on her. We decided tonight to get Five Guys burgers and fries, and the grease in that. And I told her, I said, "Hey, you've been dieting. This isn't a good idea." And I know because I've been through it, and I've done zero carbs, and then immediately like, oh, you know what? I've been really good. I'm gonna have some Five Guys burgers and fries. Not a good idea, and I will tell you that right now. If you eat Five Guys burgers and fries, cheating on your diet, your low carb diet, you will pay for it, and the worst way possible. But yeah, so she's dealing with that. She had to basically force herself to throw up, which sucks. It's terrible. But so I had to basically take daddy control, get all three of the kiddos to bed tonight. So that was a lot of fun. And on top of it, I accidentally whacked my hand with the hammer really hard. So it's swollen and hurts really bad. I was just trying to kind of put some stakes in the ground for one of my buddies, and wham. And I know it sounds like I'm being a baby, but dang, did I ever whack that thing. It hurts, and I'm not the type to gripe about pain too much, but this thing is swollen. That's just fantastic. But we have some chapters to read tonight. Tampa plays tomorrow, so I'll be looking forward to that. Sorry, I'm just trying to kind of bring up some different things because we are a podcast. Of course, we read the Bible first, but first and foremost. But I think it's good to really just chat a little bit and really enjoy the aspect of it being a podcast. And I feel like sometimes I forget that it's not just reading the Bible, it's also talking and, kind of like a fellowship type of thing, other than the fact that nobody's talking back to me. And one of the ideas of that actually was eventually maybe that this would eventually be able. Well, I thought when I started the YouTube that I'd be able to do like live things, but I guess you can't do that till you got 50 subscribers. But that's kind of the idea. I'd love to get 50 subscribers just for that. But hey, these videos work pretty well too. I mean, I can't complain. Plus, I don't know how good I do with those live things. It seems like there's a lot of hateful people on YouTube. So, especially to those who believe in God, apparently. I have seen it happen. I've scrolled through those YouTube channel live things and seen somebody preaching on there. And, people blasting them on live. It's like, man, just let the guy talk. Come on. If you don't like it, move on to the next stream. I don't know what to say. These people are nuts. But let me go ahead and I'm gonna roll over here real quick. Grab this Bible, and we'll get started. Put it on pause real quick. All right, so last night we finished at the end of chapter 20. So tonight we are moving on to chapter 21 of Deuteronomy. And what's really cool about this is that we're already getting close to the end in Deuteronomy. There's 34 chapters. Yeah, 34 chapters of Deuteronomy. And we are at chapter 21. So we only got 13 chapters left. So that's pretty solid. We're trucking right along. But like I was saying earlier, it is late tonight. And I mean, we're going to try to get as far as we can. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Which might end up only being chapter 21 and chapter 22. We might get chapter 23 in there. We'll see. But I can almost just tell you that I doubt it. It's just late, and you can blame my wife for that. Don't really blame my wife for that. So the title for chapter 21 is Atonement for an Unsolved Murder. If someone is found slain, lying in a field in the land of the Lord your God is giving you to possess, and it is not known who the killer was, your elders and judges shall go out and measure the distance from the body to the neighboring towns. Then the elders of the town nearest the body shall take a heifer that has never been worked and has never worn a yoke and lead it down to a valley that has not been plowed or planted, and where there is a flowing stream there in the valley, they are to break the heifer's neck. Can we all just respect how crazy that is? And it just goes off the deep end. Like, wow. Following along. And then you break the heifer's neck. That's crazy. You lead it down the valley and then just break the cow's neck. That's crazy. The Levitical priests shall step forward, for the Lord your God has chosen them to minister and pronounce blessings in the name of the Lord, and to decide all cases of dispute and assault. Then all the elders of the town nearest the body shall wash their hands over the heifer whose neck was broken in the valley. And they shall declare, our hands did not shed this blood, nor did our eyes see it done. Accept this atonement for your people Israel, whom you have redeemed, Lord, and do not hold your people guilty of the blood of an innocent person. Then the bloodshed will be atoned for, and you will have purged from yourselves the guilt of shedding innocent blood, since you have done what is right in the eyes of the Lord. When you go to war against your enemies, and the Lord your God delivers them into your hands, and you take captives. If you notice among the captives a beautiful woman and are attracted to her, you may take her as your wife. Bring her into your home and wait, and have her shave her head, trim her nails, and put aside the clothes she was wearing when captured. After she has lived in your house and mourned her father and mother for a full month, then you may go to her and be her husband, and she shall be your wife. If you are not pleased with her, let her go wherever she wishes. You must not sell her or treat her as a slave, since you have dishonored her. If a man has two wives, and he loves one but not the other, and both bear him sons, but the firstborn is the son of the wife he does not love, when he wills his property to his sons, he must not give the rights of the firstborn to the son of the wife he loves, in preference to his actual firstborn, the son of the wife he does not love. He must acknowledge the son of his unloved wife as the firstborn by giving him a double share of all he has. That son is the first sign of his father's strength. The right of the firstborn belongs to him. If someone has a stubborn and rebellious son who does not obey his father and mother and will not listen to them when they discipline him, his father and mother shall take hold of him and bring him to the elders at the gate of his town. They shall say to the elders, "This son of ours is stubborn and rebellious. He will not obey us. He is a glutton and a drunkard." Then all the men of his town are to stone him to death. You must purge the evil from among you. All Israel will hear of it and be afraid. Whew. Now, last night we talked about, me and my friends, my friends doing a Ouija board and me being present in the thing. Well, I'm glad my parents didn't stone me to death for being a little rebellious there. Now, don't get me wrong. I was not as rebellious as my brothers, but wow. Glad they didn't stone them either. That's just crazy. Sorry. If someone guilty of capital offense is put to death and their body is exposed on a pole, you must not leave the body hanging on the pole overnight. Be sure to bury it that same day, because anyone who is hung on a pole is under God's curse. You must not desecrate the land the Lord your God is giving you as inheritance. And that was the end of chapter 21. I am astonished, honestly. That was a pretty wild chapter, if I'm not gonna lie. With the marrying a captive woman, the rebellious son, the right of the firstborn. It's just crazy. I don't even know what to think here. Oh, thank God that Jesus died for our sins, man. because this is nuts. Which, hear me out. I'm not saying that it's nuts, but in my point of view, in 2026, can you imagine if we were bringing out everybody? I mean, we're talking about a rebellious son right now. Somebody that is, quote unquote, stubborn. He is a glutton and a drunkard. Can you imagine parents just bringing their their sons out in the streets and just stone them to death? Just everybody, hey, this guy, our son, he's being stubborn. He is a glutton. He's been eating a lot of food. And he drinks a lot of whiskey. Or even beer. Let's say beer. Because that's what's trendy. He is eating a lot of pizza. Drinking a lot of beer. Everybody, throw your rocks at him. We don't want him anymore. Stone him to death. I mean, can you imagine the lineup of guys my age? Well, probably younger than me, but I mean, wow. To me, that's just, well, and I'm sure there'd be some my age, but just nuts. I don't know. And that's why I say it's nuts. Because can you imagine it at this timeline that we're in? You know, can you imagine us bringing those guys out, just going, hey, line them up, stone them to death? It's just, to me, at this point in time, that would be absolutely crazy. But this is the Old Testament, and Jesus died for our sins, and that gives us somewhat of freedom. Well, gives us a lot of freedom. Gives us to break away from our chains. All right, I got to read the descriptions here. Chapter 21, verses 18 through 21. Rebellious children are heartbreaking to their parents. Even when parents do the best they can, some children still refuse to adhere to God's standards of conduct. In such cases, the Old Testament law commanded this drastic measure. This law reveals how much God desires that children respect and obey their parents. He desires that the proper authority structures in our family be established early, so such radical measures are not necessary. I'm going to have to read this to my daughter, because God knows she's going to be one of them rebellious teens, I think. Well, no, she's not. She's going to be perfect. She's my perfect little angel. Man, I'm not ready for that stage. Chapter 22. I'll quit hyping up my life and continue reading the Bible. So, chapter 22 was supposed to be continuous after chapter 21, but the title, the last paragraph of chapter 21 was various laws, and that's where we're going to continue on. If you see your fellow Israelites' ox or sheep straying, do not ignore it, but be sure to take it back to its owner. If they do not live near you, or if you do not know who owns it, take it home with you and keep it until they come looking for it. Then give it back. Do the same if you find their donkey or cloak. or anything else they have lost. Do not ignore it. If you see your fellow Israelite's donkey or ox fallen on the road, do not ignore it. Help the owner get it to its feet. A woman must not wear men's clothing, nor a man wear women's clothing. For the Lord your God detests anyone who does this. If you come across a bird's nest beside the road, either in a tree or on the ground, and the mother is sitting on the young or on the eggs, do not take the mother with the young. You may take the young, but be sure to let the mother go, so that it may go well with you, and you may have a long life. When you build a new house, make a parapet around your roof, so that you may not bring the guilt of bloodshed on your house if someone falls from your roof. Do not plant two kinds of seed in your vineyard. If you do, not only the crops you plant, but also the fruit of the vineyard will be defiled. Do not plow with an ox and a donkey yoked together. Do not wear clothes of wool and linen woven together. Make tassels on the four corners of the cloak you wear. If a man takes a wife and after sleeping with her dislikes her and slanders her and gives her a bad name, saying, I married this woman, but when I approached her, I did not find proof of her virginity, then the young woman's father and mother shall bring to the town elders at the gate proof that she was a virgin. Her father will say to the elders, I gave my daughter in marriage to this man, but he dislikes her. Now he has slandered her and said, I did not find your daughter to be a virgin. But here's the proof of my daughter's virginity. Then her parents shall display the cloth before the elders of the town. And the elders shall take the man and punish him. They shall fine him 100 shekels of silver and give them to the young woman's father, because this man has given an Israelite virgin a bad name. She shall continue to be his wife. He must not divorce her as long as he lives. If, however, the charge is true and no proof of the young woman's virginity can be found, she shall be brought to the door of her father's house, and there the men of her town shall stone her to death. She has done an outrageous thing in Israel by being promiscuous while still in her father's house. You must purge the evil from among you. If a man is found sleeping with another man's wife, both the man who slept with her and the woman must die. You must purge the evil from Israel. If a man happens to meet in a town a virgin pledged to be married, and he sleeps with her, you shall take both of them to the gate of that town and stone them to death. The young woman, because she was in a town and did not scream for help, and the man, because he violated another man's wife. You must purge the evil from among you. But if out in the country a man happens to meet a young woman pledged to be married and rapes her, only the man who has done this shall die. Do nothing to the woman. She has committed no sin deserving death. This case is like that of someone who attacks and murders a neighbor. For the man found the young woman out in the country, and though the betrothed woman screamed, there was no one to rescue her. If a man happens to meet a virgin who is not pledged to be married and rapes her, and they are discovered, he shall pay her father 50 shekels of silver. He must marry the young woman, for he has violated her. He can never divorce her as long as he lives. A man is not to marry his father's wife. He must not dishonor his father's bed. Oh, whoa. I'm just going to say this. Like I said, the Old Testament is crazy. But if someone rapes my daughter or something, there ain't no money that's going to save that man from me there's no money that's going to save that man from me killing him. I don't know. It's just crazy. I mean, it's just crazy. And I mean, it's just the thing. Chapter 22, verse 5. One of the ugliest results of sin in our times is the confusion of sex roles. The Bible is unequivocal on this point. Don't reverse sex roles. Men rejoice in your Men, rejoice in your maleness. Women, celebrate your femaleness. Be the sexual gender God intended you to be. In your appearance, in your clothing, and in your thinking. Outside of these perimeters, meaningful spiritual growth is impossible. Completely agree. Chapter 22, verses 13 through 30. The home is of vital concern to God. He cares about marital faithfulness and purity. He spells out all these regulations to demonstrate that the marriage relationship is of great and holy importance. God's pattern of marriage is clear. Marital fidelity is essential for establishing strong families whose members are characterized by maturity and wholeness. Okay. Let's just end it there. Tomorrow we will start off at chapter 23. We finished chapter 22. What a crazy couple chapters those were. Yeah. I mean, it's Old Testament, and I think we can take a lot from some of those. Obviously, none of that is happening in our world today. Well, I mean, it is in other countries, so we should be grateful for living in America. But yeah, it's just nuts. I don't even know what to say here. But let's go ahead and say prayer. Dear God, thank you for giving us another night of reading your word. Thank you for blessing us with your presence. Thank you for blessing us with our safety and our shelter and our food on the table tonight. And just thank you for leading us into this world and just keeping us from running astray and just keeping us in your grasp, Lord, and as we continue to obey your words and just try to walk this righteous path in God's name, amen. Again, not the greatest prayer, but it fits. I do hope you guys have a great rest of your night. It's late, so I'm sure anyone who does watch this won't see it until at least tomorrow. But tomorrow's Friday. The other Friday, days keep going by faster and faster. But I hope you guys have a great night, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Good night.